Snow is falling all around us. Children playing, having fun. 'Tis the season, love and understanding. Merry Christmas, fuck the Huns. Let's go!
Cool, that was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful rendition there. Good evening, ladies and gents, and Happy New Year to you all. Welcome back to the Football Booth podcast of 2024, episode 14. My name is Fennan. Joined alongside me, I've got the ever so good looking, with a wonderful voice, Mayhem. Happy New Year, my friend. How are you?
Happy New Year, pal. Yeah, mate. Well, in high spirits, obviously. In terms of from actual wellness, got this fucking flu that everyone in the UK seems to have. I don't know if you've avoided it in Scandinavia world, but
No, we had it. We probably had it. We had it about 2 weeks earlier.
yeah, it seems that everyone is sick in some capacity. So I've got the end bit of a sort of chesty cough, so maybe a few subtle outbursts I'll have to mute. But apart from that, mate, not a lot could. There wasn't going to be much to stop us coming
No.
for this episode.
Have a good Christmas.
All right, mate. Your kids, wee ones were loved it. Obviously, Santa was good to them. But yeah, just quiet one in the house. You?
Yeah, you know what? It was relaxing. It always feels nice when I don't have to travel back home for Christmas. As bad as it sounds, obviously I get to go see the boys, get to see the family, but it's a lot of travelling involved, and so it becomes very exhausting, very expensive more than anything. And so yeah, it was nice to just put my feet up for 2 weeks, not really go anywhere. Enjoy Christmas here a day earlier because obviously in Scandinavia we celebrate on the 24th. Swedes tend to like to do a lot of things early, except for letting teachers break up for actual Christmas, but we won't go over that. And so, yeah, no, me and Maria enjoyed a nice Christmas dinner with her family, which is pretty much the traditional Christmas dinner for Swedes is completely identical for every other celebration. There's fish, there's meatballs, there's potatoes. And I'm like Kevin Bridges there. I'm like, where's all the yellow shit? I'll only eat yellow. You know what I mean? But I managed to sweet talk her and guilt trip her on the 25th to, get the gravy out, get some roasties on. And so did get that sweet touch of home there. So it was, like I said, it was cozy, it was relaxing, and then of course there was good old Cardiff to try and bring my spirits down, and of course we'll get onto that, but obviously we like to start off in high spirits, and they certainly are high spirits indeed for you, Mayhem. It was a very jolly Christmas for you and New Year indeed for the boys in green. 3 wins within the last fortnight, starting off with the away victory at Dundee. We called it the Christmas miracle. Not 1 but 2 goals from Mikey Johnston, Paolo Bernardo getting off the mark, and which then he managed to follow up in the big clash against the Huns last Saturday. But look, I don't want to take up too much airtime wasting my own breath just yet. It's over to you, Mayhem. Please enlighten us with your analogy over Celtic's recent performances.
Even I don't know if we've done a pod even from when we beat Livingston at home. Obviously, it's 4 in a row now. I think.
Oh no, you're right. It's 4 in a row. Yeah.
Last episode was pretty somber. Obviously,
Yeah, it was.
Coming off the back of the Hearts defeat and the loss at Rugby Park. Sandwiched in between that was the Feyenoord game, which kind of I remember talking on that podcast saying that the derby I think will be fine because they'll attack us, and more so at home we've been grand with teams that have done that in the European competitions. Obviously played quite well against Atletico, struggled towards the back end of the second half when they brought a few players on, but ultimately a good result. Should have beat Lazio at home, and obviously then beat Feyenoord. So I was confident with a team that was always going to come and have a go, that we would be all right. The worry for me was, but I think Brendan Rodgers I think we touched on it as well towards the end of his first stint. What he struggled with was breaking down that low block, and we had Livingston. We played St Mirren last night. We had Dundee. They were the worry games. The worrisome games for me that we hadn't at that point when we were talking seen a lot from Paulo Bernardo. Hatate was still injured. There was rumours that Abada was close but still not ready. Maeda was back but doing Maeda things. So there was worry more so around how are we going to deal with the Livingston game, how are we going to deal with going away to Dundee and finishing away at St Mirren, because Stephen Robinson sets his St Mirren team up fantastically well. We see that last season when they had a record high finish,
Yeah,
a record
got to a good start as well this season as well, St Mirren.
Right, they've kind of fought with a wee bit, but
Yeah.
we always knew it was going to be tough resolute. Livingston, they're absolutely gash. Martin Dowell's in the bin. He's complaining about pretty much everything that he's bigged himself up for the past few seasons. The bottom of the league, they play on a plastic pitch. Get in the fucking bin, go down and never return. That's it.
Simple as that.
Get the fuck away you go. They're on 12 points. Good. Stay there. Don't win another game. Fuck off. But they come. They were dogged. We were 0-0 at half time. Again, that was the worry that they were going to be in this low block. They were going to not let us. And, thankfully, we got a couple of quick fire goals in the second half. Kyogo got back on the score sheet, which was massive. He'd been in a wee bit of a drought. Liam Scales flicks one in from the corner and, scores, I think it's his first goal this season. I might be wrong about that, but it was a big goal. And, a quick shout out to Liam Scales, because I read something this morning that's pretty accurate. If we had brought, if his name was Norofsky, we'd paid 5 million for this boy in the summer, we'd be ranting and raving about this boy. If Norofsky had come in and done what Liam Scales had done, we'd be raving about him. Best thing since sliced bread. So Liam Scales, look, do I think he can keep this up? Probably not. But the season he's had is absolutely phenomenal. He's absolutely Cameron Carter-Vickers' partner. Do I think we should go out in January and maybe look to strengthen, because at some point he'll drop off? Yes. But there's no way. The likes of Nat Phillips and that were nowhere near him. Liam Scales was miles above it. We've signed Norofsky, we've signed Lagerbielka. Not seen a lot of them. Obviously, Norofsky's come in for the sort of the end of the first half, whole the second half of the derby, and then obviously played against St Mirren. So we haven't seen a lot. He's done all right, but Liam Scales playing out of his skin this season, obviously scored against Livingston. So that set us up. Obviously, then we was away to Dundee. Another tricky game. Struggling again. They're performing well since being promoted this season. Last season, sorry. We get fortunate with the goal. The Paulo Bernardo making an attacking run in, kind of pokes it and it kind of squirms in. And then, the Christmas miracle pops up. Mikey Johnson.
My God.
Bags a brace. Unbelievable scenes. At that point, really, we've won the game 10-0, because surely his count is 4 and 5s, that's surely. But,
yeah, absolutely.
It's difficult to say, Dundee are a well-structured team if you're letting that boy dance inside you and score, but it was what it was, and that put us in a good position to obviously go into the derby. There was this whole thing that we hadn't won 3 in a row all season. We'd fought it here and blah blah blah. They'd closed the gap. Philip Clement was a love child of Klopp and Pep Guardiola mixed together, and he's better than both of them. They've gone to Real Betis, and they've got results, and they've done all this shit, and they just lost.
They just lost, yeah.
Again, I think there was a start. It was over the last something like, and again, forgive me, because in my euphoria, if this reaches ears of people that would maybe come back and have a different opinion of me, because I'm not being statistically correct, in my euphoria, I may have heard this wrong, but I think like in the last 22 visits or something, or however long it's been, or it may even the last 2 decades or something, they've won 7 times at Celtic Park. That means that there's people at a 20-year-old that the far ranges that have seen him only been 7 fucking times, and half of that would have been in the COVID era. God bless yous. You
Poor
wouldn't
Luke
even been in
Littler.
the ground. You wouldn't even been in the ground. You wouldn't even be in the ground now because you're a petty fox, and you barred us from having a proper allocation because we were partying too much at your place, and now you're crying that you don't get your 800 tickets. Get in the fucking bin. Um, but yeah, I think we started on the front foot. There was a real intensity to the derby, which was good. A couple of tackles. Liam Scales went in on McCausland. McCausland, that's from Antrim. How you doing, Ross?
Close to home.
Used to be part of the Steeple Defenders. That was his marching group. They should have told him he was a defender. They could have used some a couple of days ago. Anyway, they come out. I think Liam Scales went in. There was a couple of tackles. Callum McGregor on it as well. Apparently, the tactic from Pep Guardiola's love child, Philip Clement, his Belgium heir to the throne, decided that Todd Cantwell should mark Callum McGregor. Great tactical decision. Ironically for Celtic, unfortunately, Philip, because Callum just run the guy ragged. Poor wee TikTok Todd didn't know what the fuck was happening. Callum, especially in the first half, was a captain's performance. We're used to seeing it, right? Obviously, and I hate to compare, and I hate to look back, and I hate to bring it and compare captaincies. But we're used to seeing captain's performance from Scott Brown from these games really getting G'd up. Callum McGregor is a completely different player, completely different captain. But seeing these games, man, he just gets it. And that's a statement that gets thrown around stupidly at Celtic. Bring Neil Lennon back. He just gets it and all this pish. But he just gets it, man. And see on these games,
100%.
fucking on it. Absolutely on it. First half, he was unbelievable. Like breaking the lines, breaking through, dictating the pace, just keeping the ball ticking over, winning the ball back. It was super. Scott Brown was amazing. For me, controversial probably for a lot of people. For me, Callum McGregor is the best captain in terms of a player that I've ever seen. You have to remember, obviously, I'm 30. Don't people start shouting at me about? There would have been people in the 90s that's controversial about. I don't really remember them. From me, I'm saying Callum McGregor's the best one
Yeah,
I've
in
seen
your
in my life.
timeline, yeah.
Um, but just the way that he has an impact on the game, and he always turns up in these games, always performs, and that's why they hate him so much. They fucking hate him. It's glorious. But yeah, we started with a real good tempo. Was on top. And what's important, the old cliche is, you've got to score. And we passed up a few opportunities. Bernardo obviously had a header from just outside the 6-yard box. He put wide. He had a shot from the edge of the box. Third time lucky though, because Palmer swung the corner and obviously hit that sweet volley.
Unbelievable technique behind that volley. Fantastic finish.
Beautiful. Nearly gets crushed under the barricade as he goes to celebrate. What a silly goose he'd have been if he got booked and then had to be subbed. Um, but thankfully he was all right, and he was just on it. Like he really was. He's just something's clicked for him. I don't know if getting the goal at Dundee or getting this run of games, and something's clicked. And I think Katati's a wonderful player. At full fitness, he's been an incredible player for us. But at the moment, for me, Paulo's in possession of that jersey, and Katati's got to come in and win it back. And yeah, I think that left side was really strong. Like Bernardo, Greg Taylor thought had a really good game.
Yeah, he
Lewis
was
Palmer
solid.
probably had his best game in a Celtic jersey for me. Really had Tavernier on toes, could go right, could go left. Couldn't deal with him. And we obviously get in at 1-0 up. I'm pretty comfortable. It was obviously disappointing to see Stephen Welsh go off with another injury. Looks like another shoulder problem, and obviously Narovsky come on. A few, obviously, big moments for them. Dessers decides he's got an infinite amount of time to try and get a shot away, and Alistair Johnson gets back after he'd nicked in when Stephen Welsh got injured. But we will quickly clear up because apparently Philip Clement, a football manager, he don't get it. There's hundreds of thousands of fans that support the other side of the city. They don't get it. There isn't a Celtic fan in the world that is saying that Alistair Johnson swinging his arm on punching that ball out isn't a penalty. There isn't. And
But
if
the
they are,
offside prior
yeah,
to it,
if they are,
exactly.
they're lying. Of course, the way he swings his arm, it's a penalty. We're not going to get into Connor Golds and hands up here. We're not going to do that. We're not going to go there, right? Just short memories. We're not going there, though. We'll leave it, all right? There's not a Celtic fan saying that that isn't a penalty. What we're saying is it doesn't fucking matter because even if he awards the penalty, they check the offside and he's offside.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
as simple as that. And the fact that, and the pundits at half time as well, that were questioning the decision as to why VAR hadn't overturned the decision of why it wasn't handball, and then it comes out as the second half starts like, oh, it shows it's offside. Oh, it would have been great if they communicated. I mean, like, you could see it a mile off though.
Well, I think everyone was a wee bit confused.
I think maybe, yeah, because the eyes were so drawn to Alistair Johnson.
In the heat of the game, in the heat of the moment, like if that's up the other end, we're screaming for it. Of course,
Yeah.
He's swung his arm, he's punched the ball out of play. Like we're screaming for it. It becomes absolutely redundant that because it's offside. So you can complain about Scottish officials. We've been doing that for a while. Glad you're catching up now, right? You can complain. That's absolutely fine. They're dog shit. We all know that, right? It's like giving a fucking child, a toddler, a fucking PlayStation 5 control and, expecting anything different. No matter if we have VAR, no matter what we have, the officials are shit.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly shit. You request an audio. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but the penalty that doesn't get given at Tynecastle when Alan Forrest, James Forrest's brother, it goes round the goalkeeper, gets clipped, goes down. The penalty isn't given. It then goes to VAR, or it doesn't go to VAR. It's the most stonewall penalty you will ever see,
Yeah.
and it doesn't get given. So I hope Hearts request an audio for that. If we're allowed to request audio, fuck it, right? While we're there, we'll have audio for the Turnbull penalty that didn't get reviewed, but we'll get to that. But just to clear up and draw a line under it, it's offside, boys. That's it. Move on.
Yeah.
Right. Come up with something else to complain about. Right, we're going to get onto the other bit that you're complaining about in a minute. Right, we'll clear that up for you. But see the whole Alistair Johnson. It was offside, boys. Move on. Right, into the second half. I'm sure they were still pretty hopeful. They'd had a few chances. They're probably telling themselves that they're still in the game. Philip Clement, he's going to do it. Battle fever and all that. Kyogo just sticks in the top bins, cuts in from the edge of the box, left foot, bends it. Jack Butland, best thing since sliced bread, all this. Yeah, man.
Got fingers to it. He tried.
And then from then on, the game, obviously, they have to open up a wee bit more, and it was pretty comfortable. They didn't really do much. The bit they were all talking about is Paulo Bernardo should have been sent off. Factually incorrect. What should have happened, or that tackle that Dortmund should have received the second yellow, is Connor Goldson should have received the red card. The way that he boots the ball and carries through, and straight leg then collides above Paulo Bernardo's knee, it's a red card.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, go and have a look at Romerio's challenge for Tottenham in the Premier League, where he does basically the same thing and gets a red card. Or you can go look at Maeda in the Champions League. So in the Premier League, it's a red card. In UEFA, it's a red card. In the Scottish Premiership, apparently, we give a free kick to Rangers. But you just keep complaining about refs, boys. You just keep complaining. Yeah, and then again, the game's kind of to and fro. Not a lot happening. A few chances that we could have done to be a bit better with. Balogun, absolute tramp, takes a shit touch because he is shit. Kyogo plays a little ball behind. Maeda does the one thing that he can actually do: run really,
yeah,
really
exactly,
quickly.
really quickly.
Gets in front of him. Balogun pulls him down. Red card. There's no dispute.
No,
It's a goal scoring opportunity. The officials get one right. Well done to them. He's away. Allegedly spitting at fans on the way through as well. There's video circulating. It's a wee bit difficult to kind of make out, I guess. I don't quite know, but it certainly looks like he spits as he's going down the tunnel. He's a tramp. And then really we should have sent it out. We should have kicked on.
yeah,
and it should have
absolutely,
been a flattering scoreline. But we didn't. Made it a wee bit difficult for ourselves. Our passing game kind of went out. A wee bit the intensity dropped. Obviously, there was a few subs. Mikey Johnson come on, which was a massive fucking problem because all of a sudden then Tavernier just wasn't being
exactly.
And obviously I took Kyogo off, and there was a few changes, and they come into the game
coming on as well. He's
he's obviously going to be built back up, and
great reception for him as well. I really wasn't expecting that round of applause when he came on.
Yeah, look, he's a Celtic player. We'll support him wholeheartedly. Um, the He'll be built back up. It'll take his time. Still, will have a big part to play with. We've obviously made a go enough for the Asian to play. But yeah, good to see him back. And then Norris gives away towards the end of the game. Norris gives away a stupid free kick, and Tavernier puts one on target. I don't know if it was right in the corner. I don't want to. Joe Hart made a couple of good saves in the game. He had a decent game, I thought, and maybe I'm being a wee bit too harsh to think he should have got across it, maybe his feet a wee bit quicker. But that obviously made the 12 additional minutes of the advertised 8, the 12.
Yeah.
A little bit nervous. I mean, all these.
No, I know.
Catholic
I saw the second half. And that's
pesky,
eight minutes
pesky
added on.
fuckers.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, obviously made them a wee bit nervy, but ultimately see the game out, and we do what champions do when they're asked a big question. We come through it yet again. We win. So that's Ibrox that we've gone and done the business, beat them at home, on for a whitewash. That'd be glorious, wouldn't it? So that was it. But look, it meant absolutely, as euphoric as it was, it means absolutely nothing if we don't then go and follow it up at St Mirren. And yeah, I think the first 10-15 minutes was as good as we've played this season. Moved the ball really well, good interchange. Obviously, we get the early goal. Maeda scores. Matt O'Reilly with the assist, and then he gets one for himself. Paulo Bernardo with the assist there. Pretty comfortable. I think the red card for the St Mirren player is a wee bit harsh. I know that pretty much everyone else seems to disagree with me because Joe Hart, took a boot to the face, which I get, but I don't think he's meaning to do that.
It's not intentional by all means, but I think
he's instinctively put his leg out. Joe Hart's dipping down. Yes, I get.
I think it's just purely the case of like the contact that was made, which, like you said, it is absolutely harsh. But if contact's made, then there's a decision that has to be made there. And then from that point on, it feels pretty plain sailing for you. Then Greg Taylor goes to wrap it up on the hour mark and makes the game easy.
And that's it. Now we kind of put everything down. We'll go away to the warm weather training camp. Hopefully, rest the squad a bit. So that's obviously a big thing. We've been given a big lifeline. The fact that Kyogo hasn't called up for Japan, which is mental, but look really good for us. I think that probably solidifies this will be the last season we see of Kyogo. He's 28. To be left out of the Asian Cup, I think he will move in the summer. But he's given us some incredible memories. Obviously, loves a goal against him. He's been a fantastic player for us.
Yeah, true big game player.
I'm sure. Been a fantastic player for us. I don't know. We'll probably not get the fee that we deserve for him because he's 28, 29. But an absolute superstar. But I think he'll want to go and make sure that he solidifies his last couple of years playing in the national team. It's huge for the Japanese players playing for the national team. So he'll be bitterly disappointed that he's not in the team. But from a selfish aspect, and incredible boost that we're not losing him across that period of games, Aberdeen and Hibs in there. So I think with Ross County and Bucky Thistle at home as well. So you would expect us to navigate the home games, and then Aberdeen and Hibs are going to be difficult. So the fact that he's there and can be called upon is huge for us. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some business done in this window. Crying out, I still think, for a right winger. Abada's obviously coming back, but he's patchy. He does contribute good numbers, but I think he's patchy, and I wouldn't mind someone coming in over the top of him. I think it's a good chance to maybe get a few people off the books as well, hopefully. So we'll see what business is done, but hopefully it's quality over quantity. We don't need to be fleshing out any more projects. I know that's Celtic's model, and that's what we do. We buy cheap, build them up, and sell them on. But hopefully we can, bring in a few sort of established players and really bulk out the first team squad and kick on, to the second half of the season. Rangers have a lot of games. They've games in hand. They'll have European games. They'll have a lot of games to fit in. To start of the new year. So they'll obviously have to hope that they can bolster as well. So it's important to go and refresh that squad, get a few people in, and make sure that we finish strong. But fantastic finish to the end of the year and to the start of it as well.
100%, mate. No, it feels like the tables have turned completely from the last time we recorded. Obviously, you went on a bit of a tirade towards the board in the last episode, and then
that still stands, by the way.
Yeah. I'm fully, yeah.
That shit doesn't change because we've had a couple of good results.
Yeah,
the fucking board are snake bastards.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, we're riding that euphoric wave. The problem, the worry is here that we've won 4 in a row. We've beaten our biggest rivals and obviously our biggest challengers for the league. That probably puts a tint on, will the board go and spend now? Will they go and invest? Because they see that, you know what I mean? So it's that caveat. But hopefully Brendan will, get in the year and make sure that we go and get a couple of quality players over the line, and then we can kick on another.
And Brendan's made it clear that he wants to strengthen the squad, and he does acknowledge the fact that there's plenty of recruitments that needs to be made in and around the squad, but it's just now the matter of whether the board back him or not.
I think they have to. You know what I mean? But the things that he said coming back, it's either back him or, to be honest, it's either back him or let him walk, really. Because you're taking the piss out of him, really. So, bringing in that players like Yang, come on, the fuck.
No.
I'm so happy he's been called up to the Asian Cup. That means that I won't have to watch him.
Did he get a call up?
Yeah, like him and O obviously got called up for the South Korea team. So it's brilliant news for Yang. Brilliant news for me because he won't have to come on.
Happy days.
But he's a player that's so raw that I don't think he should be anywhere near playing the amount of football he's played. He should be, like when he come on at St Mirren, we're 3-0 up, we've got half hour here, right, we'll bring you on. Like, get a taste of it. No pressure on you.
Exactly.
Go and develop a bit. It shouldn't be, in that, we're 0-0 and we need something to happen. He's too raw. Maybe in a couple of years' time with a bit of development, there's a player there, but not now.
Well, it was like when he started against Lazio in the Champions League as well, and you can tell how raw he was a mile off in that game where he just, the poor boy he looked absolutely frightened going forward and just anxious to really do anything apart from try and get it onto his left foot, which made him look so one-dimensional and predictable when going forward, and it just made it easy for Lazio. But like you said, you've got to manage the occasions for players like Yang, where they haven't got big game experience, and you've got to ease them and nurture them into.
It's a shame, really, because a perfect game coming up would be Bucky Thistle, but he's obviously away.
Yeah.
That'd be the perfect game to get him in and really embed him in, and I'm sure he would have a good performance. I look at Yang, and the worry for me is I look at Yang, and I think, if Rocco Vata, who is a right winger in the academy, if he's not good enough to get in front of him, and he's our biggest prospect, like, what's going on? Like, we've seen, we've lost players like Ben Doak that's gone down because he couldn't see a path to the first team. I mean, he's gone to Liverpool. He can't see a fucking path to the first team there.
No.
But good for you, Ben. And we've seen it before with people that have a lot of hype around them, but they don't really, that Kamoko Dembele. There was a lot of hype around him. Never really see him.
No.
So the worry is here that if Vata isn't good enough, I mean, you look at the Champions League game against Feyenoord, Frame come on, and Vata's not even getting on the bench, but this boy is. So I don't know, but I think there's maybe speculation around whether he wants to sign another contract and stuff like that. So the worry is if he can't get in front of Yang, then is there any point in him being at the football club?
Yeah, exactly. Then it just begs the question as to what is Celtic's goal with driving academy players into the first team squad.
Yeah, we've had Callum McGregor come through, Kieran Tierney. You've had this conveyor belt, of people that have at least made the bench and come on. Even people like the striker, was it Aitchison or I don't know. He went to Forest Green in the end, but was like always like floating around the squad. You would see him at the odd time. We don't really have anyone like that at the
No.
moment. So Stephen Welsh probably is the other one as well that's obviously come up through, but yeah, no one really that you
No.
look down at
There
the B
was
team.
Ewan Henderson as well. He came up through your academy, didn't he? And then went on
I think
to
both of the Henderson brothers did.
yeah. So then he
I think
went on
Ewan
to.
Henderson's at Hamilton at the moment. No, I think.
I
I
know.
think he,
I think he
he
was one
went
of
to
those players. He went on loan to Italy, didn't he? At one point to
was that his
someone like
brother?
Pisa or something. Ewan or Liam, one of the two.
Yeah, I think Liam went to Italy.
Yeah.
Ewan went to Hibs, I think, and then
Yeah, that's it. He went to Hibs and then now he's
or
at
maybe
Hamilton.
that's I don't know. One of them's at Hamilton. Maybe Lewis is one of the Hendersons definitely went to Hibs. We can say that.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Yeah, one of them definitely went to Hibs. But but in regards with that, it just sort of goes to show that Rodgers does need to be backed this January.
Yeah, 100%. We need to show faith in him to go out. The the scouting setup is questionable as to how much we know about you know certain aspects of the world and how much we're relying on the kind of Asian market, which I think we've maybe exhausted a wee bit. Um, so yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we are get sorted. Ewan Henderson at Hamilton is completely the wrong person. He used to be a Hearts player, so never mind.
Okay, never mind.
Cut,
But
cut
he
that
was at Hibs. He was at Hibs. I remember him being at Hibs.
at some point. Is he still kicking around? Please don't tell me this is another player that's still kicking about our fucking squad. Then I'm pretty sure we sold him, but he's not on the Hibs squad list.
Who's that? Ewan.
Oh, he's not on ours. Ah, fuck knows where he is.
Ewan Henderson. Where is that boy?
Is it? Might have even been Liam.
Oh, he's on loan from Hibs. He's in Belgium at the moment.
Oh, is he?
At I'm gonna absolutely butcher this pronunciation. KV Oostende. So yeah, no, loving life out in Belgium.
Yeah, good beer.
Very good beer indeed. Cheap holiday. Moving on. Are we off down to the valleys?
We're off down to the valleys.
Off down to the valleys indeed. Well, this Christmas and New Year has consisted of nothing but... How can I put it into 3 words? I would say frustrating, confusing, and with 1 or 2 games, a massive sigh of relief. So, we last recorded when I think this was off the back of the whole result.
Yeah.
And so we were going into the Christmas period where we essentially on paper had two or 3 games where we could have easily, from those 3 games we could take a minimum of 7 points in the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth at home, and then recently away to QPR on New Year's Day. And that Sheffield Wednesday game, man, Jesus Christ. I feel so sorry for Wednesday, because for the first 70 minutes we materialised nothing in that game. And then the goal came from a lucky deflection from a Carlin Grant shot, which found the far corner beyond Craig Dawson to put us level on terms. And then from the 70th minute onwards, that pretty much made the game end to end. And again, Ollie Tanner drives down the left flank, gets a shot off, Craig Dawson spills it, and Atete pokes it through Dawson's legs, and it's just bundled over the line. Like the 2 jammiest goals I've ever seen. And so the fact that Sheffield Wednesday left that game empty-handed was just complete and utter daylight robbery. By all means, not complaining, but it was a very, very fortunate outcome for us and a very poor performance. And we followed up that stellar performance against Plymouth at home. We just, again, this is where the confusion comes in, because I don't understand Errol Bullett's approach to this. So we've gone 1-0 down. We found our way back 2-1 up, where we discovered that Carlin Grant as a number 10 is a massive game changer for us. The guy just produces so much more when he's behind Atete or Mate, whoever is up top. Playing him on the left flank, you either going to get a hit or miss Carlin Grant, where he gets the ball, he can create anything out of nothing, or he just will be completely isolated, as I've said in the past. Moving him into the number 10, if you're not playing Ruben there, who is by far been our best outlet, being direct and going at defences as of late. Carlin Grant at number 10, absolutely amazing as of late, and scored an absolute peach against Plymouth Argyle to put us 2-1 up. But then Errol Bullett decides on the hour mark to bring Ruben Colwell and Keon Atete off, who were arguably our two best players, bar Grant, on the field, which completely sucked out our only attacking intent in that lineup that game. And we just invited pressure, and we allowed this lanky, manky, Jack reject fuck Morgan Whittaker score 2 against us, and made Plymouth look like, it honestly felt like we were the newly promoted side in that game. Absolutely poor, just no intensity, no lack of drive, and I just don't understand why Bullet is leaving the likes of Colwell and Tanner on the bench, keeps rotating Atete week in, week out. And then going into that Leicester game at home, I knew we'd lost as soon as I saw the lineup. If we're playing 3 holding midfielders at home, it just goes to show that we're showing Leicester way too much respect, and we're allowing them to be on the front foot from the first whistle. And that's exactly what happened. Showed them way too much respect. We can compete with these teams. I know we can compete with these teams because we've done it. We opened up with Leeds at Ellen Road. We got a point there. We took Leicester down to the final whistle where they had to score a late winner. We can compete with these sides. But the approach that we take as of late is we're just too cautious. Too cautious whatsoever. And we've got the likes of Colwell, who again is being brought off after 60 minutes, or he's coming on after 60 minutes. It's the same with Ollie Tanner as well. Like, these two are our most direct players at the moment, and that can make stuff happen. Josh Bowler as well, being rotated as well, probably our most technically gifted football player at the club, who is incredibly creative and can cause problems. And then I don't see the what's the word for it? I don't see the obsession with Yaku Mate at the moment. The guy is just an absolute lump, who we just chuck out on the right wing. He can hold up the ball, yeah, so what? But he can't run. He's all one-footed. Can't use his right foot to save his life, and just doesn't create anything. Can't finish either. We've seen that throughout the whole fucking season. He's got no head on his shoulders. Can't finish a spelling test. I don't see how he gets into that side whatsoever. And the fact that Ollie Tanner's on the bench, not starting ahead of him, I don't understand it. But like I said, yeah, we gave Leicester the 3 points, and then thankfully we bounced back on New Year's Day against QPR, a ground that I like to go to, as I have done twice within the last couple of years, and probably me not going was a good idea, because we actually won by 2-1. A very sentimental Dibby Gutas opening the deadlock for us, dedicating his goal to his late nan. So all due respect to Gutas and his family during this time right now. Then typical Cardiff conceding a petty goal, a goal from out of nothing really. And then again, Ruben Colwell being absolutely outstanding in that game, causing problems for Begovic in goals for QPR. We then eventually work our way to get a corner. NG at the back post of all people heads home to put us 2-1 up. And then, yeah, like I said, it was a very just stop-start, trying to wind the clock down for that remaining 20 minutes. And thankfully we managed to do that, not do anything in typical Cardiff fashion, like conceding 2 late goals within the space of a minute. And yeah, we find ourselves up in 9th place after New Year's Day. January window open, and this is where Cardiff Twitter tends to go absolutely mental. I've already seen Kiefer Moore's name being mentioned multiple times. I've seen David Brooks being mentioned multiple times in terms of trying to get him on loan, Kiefer on a permanent. Of course, we can actually, we can go out and recruit players now for a sum of money, which is refreshing for us. And yeah, it's just now a matter of whether Errol Bullock can get the quality in. It's the same sense with Celtic. We got to focus on quality, not quantity, in terms of strengthening key areas. A left back is much needed. JC, who by all means hasn't been the same player since his ACL injury, didn't get called up to the Nigeria squad, thankfully, because he's really only outright left back that we've got on our books at the moment. O'Dowda set to return hopefully mid-January. Ramsey's back in training now, so we still got that to look forward to. But yeah, certain areas need to be improved. I feel if Bullet isn't gonna put his complete faith in Atete, then we need a goal scorer by all means. And then the midfield as well. I feel the bar has dropped off so far since losing Ramsey. The fact that Wintle just isn't a number 10 whatsoever. Siopis needs resting. Rulesy, who he picks up little nicks here and there along the way, and so he's rotated all the time. And so, yeah, it's just a matter of who and when comes through the door, and see if they can try and push us up the table. I think 9th place is a fantastic place to be in at this time, this point in the season. I know in the past where we've been down flirting with relegation or just, lower half of the table, we've managed to pull ourselves up into a respectable league position by May. And so the fact that we're sitting in 9th place now, and if we can take that same approach as we have done the last few seasons where we managed to pull out, get ourselves up another couple of spots, who knows what can happen. But yeah, it's a matter of fact of if Bullet does get backed as well by Vincent Tan, I'm sure he will, but I know Tan's come out already and said that he isn't paying stupid sums of money on transfer fees and wages, so it could well be the case that we don't bring in anyone special. But we have to wait and see, and just hopefully some of the names that we've seen do come to fruition. But we've got to be realistic about it. Does Kiefer Moore really want to drop down to the Championship again? Does David Brooks want to drop out of the Premier League to play for us for 6 months? It's just a matter of, whose name is on the back of the shirt.
Is he playing regularly for Bournemouth, David Brooks?
He was at the start. I'd say between September and early November he was starting regularly, and now he's just seemed to dropped out the side all of a sudden. So I don't know if that's due to injury or the fact that he's fallen out of favour. I'm not too sure. He did go through quite a purple patch for Bournemouth at one point, and he then performed well at international level with Wales, where he scored against Latvia. But no, he's gone real quiet as of late, and yeah, haven't seen him in the mix for the last couple of weeks for Bournemouth. So I don't know what's going on there, but could be realistic. But again, I'm taking every name I see through any source with a very, very small pinch of salt.
Yeah, I think so. I think those boys are always going to be linked because of obviously the Welsh connection.
Yeah,
and obviously Kiefer Moore, having played for years. But yeah, David Brooks would be exciting. Someone that I wouldn't say no to coming fully up the road if he fancies it. It would be strange to go from Maeda, who can't kick a ball but is electric in pace, someone it's not really electric in pace but really technically gifted. That'd be strange. If you could combine Brooks and Maeda, you'd probably have a Ballon d'Or contender.
Yeah, exactly. 100%, yeah.
But yeah, obviously, he's an amazing story as well. So hopefully he can get back to playing, frequent football, and it'd be lovely for him to obviously do that in the capital and catapult his up. I think we've spoken a lot about would you have taken it at the start of the season? There's no doubt you'd 100%
Oh yes.
take it being ninth. So a bit patchy, bit in and out. Disappointing results. I think really the Birmingham result kind of stands out. The performance at Hull wasn't great, but Hull are doing pretty well this season. So
That fucking Birmingham result as well.
yeah, the Plymouth one again on paper is disappointing, but they've run a few teams close. So if you kind of targeted 7 points, and that's what you ended up taking from that 4 game spell.
Absolutely, yeah.
Without playing, like you said, overly well. So hopefully we're getting some bodies back. O'Dowda coming back. Ramsey coming back, and getting a few people in to refresh it. That cliche rings so true in January. To come at it from a football manager. I mean, a proper football manager, not the game. To come at it from a football manager perspective, it's difficult to sign quality in January. People in January, you often find it's you're either paying ridiculous fees because a player's playing really good and the club doesn't want to sell them, or it's someone that's kind of fallen out of favour, and maybe fallen out of favour because they're not what the club thought they were going to be, and stuff like that. There's some
the loan market always seems more desirable when it comes to the January window. And we've managed to do it in the past where we've got the likes of Tommy Doyle on loan, Cody Drammer on loan. So we have recruited quality on loan deals, and then
100%. It's that piece where in August they don't want to go out on loan because they want to see what comes to fruition. Can they break in? They realise actually that they're not getting as much game time as they want, and they want to go play first team football, and it opens it up for them. And hopefully that's something that you can benefit from. I'm sure if the right player becomes available, it's something that Celtic will look at as well. I hate all these. I fucking hate these loan deals without an option to buy. Though I hate taking a player on, developing them for 6 months, and sending them back to a club. I know that's
horrible.
I know that's what the bigger clubs will want to do. That they'll have a prospect and want them to go and get game time and develop, and then come back a better player. I get that's the loan market. I get that's what Harry Kane and all these boys did. I get that, but I fucking hate it. I hate getting attached to loan players. And then the summer's
Jaden Philogene. That's where my heart wrenches.
And the summer's brutal because you're just begging that player to come back. Please don't leave.
And then they fuck off the Hull for 4 million. Still not talking about Jaden Philogene at all. But to be honest, I think for a club like Cardiff, I'm more concerned about keeping certain players. So we've lost big players in the past in January, the likes of Kiefer Moore going to Bournemouth. If we're going further back, I think we lost Earnshaw during that period as well. So it's always a worrying time, for Cardiff City players as well. I'm worried that we're not going to keep hold of the likes of NG. Colwell might get pinched. Tete may even get pinched, perhaps. But no, I think we've just got to see what happens, see what curtails goes on throughout this January. But again, it's just trying to keep us as fans, keep ourselves grounded and not too hyped. I see. Speaking of Birmingham, I see that Jordan James, the Welsh boy, is in advanced talks of a $4 million move to Atalanta, which will be a fantastic move for him. He's been an absolute shining outlet for Birmingham, who recently sacked Wayne Rooney after only winning 2 games from his 15 in charge. One had to be against Cardiff, go figure. And a few interesting names that have been linked with the Birmingham job. I've seen the favourite at the moment is actually former Leeds manager Jesse Marsh. See how that goes. Tony Mowbray, who was recently let go by Sunderland.
Strange decision, that, like.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, Sunderland to go and appoint Michael Beale seems strange because I haven't checked the tables, but I'm guessing. I mean, they're in the playoffs, so did he go on a? I mean, it doesn't look like an awful run as I'm flicking through. There isn't a consistent loss. Um,
Well, I know
but
Birmingham have gone from sixth down to I think it was
no,
I think
I'm
it's
talking
15th.
talking about
Oh,
Sunderland.
Sunderland. Sunderland are doing okay still.
Yeah, they lost their first two under Bill, and they've bounced back and they're undefeated in three, beating Hull away, drawing away to Rotherham, and then beating Preston on New Year's Day. So they've had a bit of an uptake, but yeah, letting Mowbray go, obviously getting into the playoffs, I thought it would be a bit harsh, but
Yeah. No, I thought the exact same thing with John Eustace at Birmingham,
oh
where
yeah, that
he'd taken
was
them up to sixth. Really, but they'd done it before when Gary Rowett did the exact same thing, and then they kicked him to the curb. So I don't know. It's a weird ownership at Birmingham as well.
yeah. It'd be interesting to see who goes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but I mean, we got FA Cup action to look forward to next. Back at Hillsborough for good old Cardiff. So who knows? They may be a little bit more fortunate. I wouldn't honestly mind if we lose. To be honest, I think we got to put all our eggs in our championship campaign. Because then after that FA Cup tie, we have the visit of Leeds United to the Welsh capital. So if you do see Rawls, Siopis and Wintle in the starting lineup, please bet your house on Leeds winning.
Yeah, obviously the Tideway derby as well on FA Cup round three. I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
pick of the fixtures, isn't it?
absolutely.
That'll be spicy.
Yeah,
Um,
that'll be on the box, and that will be
One
going.
because Newcastle are not in great form, and Sunderland have picked up a bit as well, which makes it a wee bit more interesting. It's obviously at the Stadium of Light as well, so that should be tasty.
Yeah, a sellout crowd. It'll be an upbeat atmosphere, and so it'll be definitely be a spectacle to look forward to. And you've even, you know what, and you've just mentioned Newcastle there. I think you've actually managed to plug that in perfectly because we can. I honestly haven't paid too much attention to the Premier League over the Christmas break. I've been really just stuck watching Championship fixtures. I was watching Preston Leeds the other day when I went to get my hair cut, and of course been watching Cardiff, but Newcastle starting off 2024 on not the brightest of notes, losing 4-2 at Anfield on New Year's Day in the late kick-off. Puts Liverpool top of the Premier League as things stand. Man City still have a game in hand to play, which will, if they were to hypothetically win it, which they most likely will, would put them 2 points behind Liverpool. So, but a good start for the new year for the Reds, and putting them in the steering wheel position of going forward to be favourites for the title.
Yeah, I still think. I guess Man City versus Liverpool's probably. This is a bit of a niche reference, but you maybe understand it. I think it's a little bit like Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, because while there's still games there, I still think that City will win, and I probably won't believe that it's over until it physically is over. And
No.
the reference being that when Wilder was fighting Joseph Parker, I still thought he could knock him out. Hence the reason that I had 20 quid on it, scumbag.
Oh, you put 20 on Wilder. Oh, mate.
I had 20 quid on Wilder to win between rounds 10 and 12, knockout, obviously, and AJ to win between rounds 5 and 8. And AJ won in round 5, didn't he? So cheers, Wilder. That'd have been a nice little payday, you fucking ball bag. But yeah, for City, De Bruyne is, obviously on the precipice of returning. No
Yeah.
doubt.
He was on the bench for the Sheffield United game I saw, actually, as well.
So he's
Yeah,
nearly back.
he's close to returning.
No doubt they'll somehow manage to sign someone when they've got 27 million charges against them for financial fair play, but just Everton to get deducted points.
Poor Everton.
So no doubt that they'll flex, and I think they were. I don't think it's someone to come into their team, but they're rumoured of signing some boy from River Plate and loaning him back out like they did with
Alvarez, yeah.
Alvarez. But yeah, no doubt that they'll go out and strengthen and look to add someone to the squad to refresh them and to take them on. But yeah, the Liverpool Newcastle game was it was odd. It was a strange game. I turned it off. I think at 1-1, it wasn't really doing much for me. I preferred to watch the darts, and then when I flipped back when the darts was an advert, it was 3-2, and I flipped back just in time to watch Diego Jota get clipped, run around Anfield twice, then fall over, and somehow get a penalty. Like, really bit strange. I don't know why he just doesn't kick the ball in the net. I don't know because the
It was
ball's there.
very weird. It was such a I didn't understand his thought process behind that, but
The ball's there, just score.
there it is. Like, what are you
But
doing?
uh, he goes down. Obviously, the first penalty was reverberating around as well. The Luis Diaz one, um, minimal minimal contact again. But like as soon as the ref gives it, if there's contact, VAR are never gonna overturn it. But the
Yeah,
Diego one was very strange. The boy could easily have stayed up and I think scored, but he's chose to go down. I don't understand why, but yeah, Newcastle obviously been absolutely decimated by injuries, but in and amongst it, some poor results, and they'll struggle now. I think with obviously Tottenham winning games and coming back, and the strength that's there. Teams just keep rolling out results. I think they'll struggle to make the Champions League spots.
at this rate, yeah. Even the likes of West Ham, who have been, I know they drew last night to Brighton, goalless draw, but they've been a team in good form as of late. They've found themselves up in the European spots and could be a surprise contender as things stand on
Yeah,
paper. Another team that's kind of fallen off a bit in recent weeks, Arsenal. Most recently at Craven Cottage, losing by 2-1 against Fulham. Courtesy of, Saka putting them 1-0 up, and then goals by Raul Jimenez and Bobby Reed to give the Cottagers all 3 points.
Decker, Dover, Reed.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched the back end of that, um, just because it was, and it was Christmas time. As football every time you turn on was great. Um,
We're just spoilt for sport over Christmas. I mean, I think we've been spoilt with the darts as of late, and that's really where our focus has really been on as of late. But
yeah, it's there. The Fulham Arsenal game was a weird one because once Arsenal went one up, they looked, for all the world like they were just going to go through the gears and
yeah, and just put two
see
or
them
three
up.
past them in that first half. Yeah,
And then Jimenez gets the equaliser, and then it's almost like they had run out of ideas. Obviously, they were coming off the back of the West Ham game, which again I think they were unlucky to lose. I think they played quite well, but the Fulham game, yeah, they kind of looked like they've run out of ideas. It wasn't really clicking, and lo and behold, you know, Deckard over Reed at the back post, toe pokes it in, and yeah, they've left himself, potentially being top to being 5 points behind Liverpool, and I'm sure that they'll be in the market for what they are absolutely crying out for a striker.
yeah, no,
Like,
exactly. And I think every platform has expressed this as well, that Arsenal need to go out and get a goal scoring striker by all means.
it's not easy, to find someone that's going to come in and bag you that 15, 20 a season. They're not going to be cheap. We
No,
get that, but you know, clearly Jesus that was utilised on the wing at City. You're starting to understand why now. Very good technical dribbler of the ball, not the greatest finisher in the world. Nketiah, he shouldn't be playing for someone that's challenging for the title. That
no,
guy should be playing for, you know, a Leeds United, or like a low end Premier League team
no.
where he would probably score like 10 goals. They're linked with Dominic Solanke. For me, Solanke is an older Nketiah. That's exactly where Nketiah would be, and we'd probably be doing what Solanke would be doing right
Yeah,
now. That isn't the guy that solves the problems for me. I don't think so.
yeah, I think
So
despite him being in good form as of late, I don't feel like long term he's going to be the solution for a big club like Arsenal. Absolutely not. Don't get me wrong, doing incredibly well at the moment. Has scored a good few goals in recent weeks, but I don't think. Again, it's just like, when is the penny going to drop? And realise that Solanke he's going to be one of those bog average strikers you get that can cut it at a mid-table Premier League club, can bag you 10, maybe 15 goals, but just isn't going to be good enough for a title contention side.
just chat around Ivan Toney, obviously.
Yeah,
His ban will finish pretty soon, I think. So there's chat around him, which, he's a goal scorer. I think he'll score goals, and that's exactly what they need. Um, so that could be good business. I think Brentford will want a decent fee for him because bagged 20 last season. So yeah, I think he would be the obvious kind of standout with the names that they've been linked with. Solanke a cheaper option, and ultimately I think you're getting a far less clinical finisher. So Ivan Toney makes sense. Whether or not the outside noise that will inevitably come with him is something that Arsenal want to avoid. Who knows? But I think we see how difficult it is to go and find a proper number 9 that's going to convert. You've got Haaland at City, but then as you start to look down at Chelsea, they don't have one.
no,
Spurs don't really have one. Liverpool don't really have one. United don't really have one. So you can see it is difficult to go and find someone that's going to be that number 9 is going to lead the line. Villa, obviously, Ollie Watkins, he would be perfect for Arsenal, but again, I think he would need serious money to take him away from Villa at the moment.
100% easily, especially with Villa competing as well, and with the fact that we're talking English strikers here and the likes of Watkins and Ivan Toney, that pretty much boosts their value by 2-3 times anyway.
Yeah,
what I was thinking as well. Sorry to cut you off just a moment there. Did Liverpool put a buyback clause in that Solanke contract when they sold it in there?
I have no idea.
I'm not too sure. That's quite a curious one to explore.
Yeah, I mean, if they're willing to, the big name. I don't know what he's done this season, but the big name that didn't move in the summer, that was kind of reverberating, is Osserman as well.
Yep.
So I don't know. I haven't heard crazy things about him. I don't know if he's injured. Looks like he's bagged 7 goals in the Serie A. So yeah, I think there's been a lot of issues with him at Napoli.
There was something. I don't know. It's something silly that happened in the Champions League where I think he missed a sitter or whatever, and Napoli made a TikTok out of it, and so there was a bit of a fallout there. But I think Napoli aren't in a good place as a club overall at the moment after losing Spalletti. They haven't performed as well as they did last season. Not competing for the Serie A title. I think they're out of the Coppa Italia. They haven't had a good season from what I've heard. But so could well be a realistic option for Arsenal.
Yeah, when you're looking around world football, it's incredibly difficult to go and pin someone down that's going to do that and that's going to give you longevity. I mean, you look at Bayern Munich spending the 80 odd million or whatever they spent on Harry Kane, who's in his 30s. That kind of tells you right there and then the the lack there of clinical centre forward that would be required at that level. But I guess they can go and have a little look, deep dive, see what's out there, and but they're crying out for someone to come in and
the only other name I've seen Arsenal being linked with, and this is going to be a very raw option for them, is 20-year-old Marcus Leonardo from Santos. Has represented Brazil At under 20 level, you know where I'm going with this. It's going to be. He's one of those players that you'd see on Football Manager grow into like the next R9, and again, like they've considered it an option again, purely speculation as things stand, and by all means would be very raw and not the short-term solution for their goal scoring
And I think
probes.
because of all the teams that we've just mentioned that don't have a striker like Nunez, you've seen the money that Liverpool spent on him, and struggles to score. Like great physical attributes, great pace, struggles to finish. So even going out and spending a big fee doesn't guarantee you these things.
Absolutely not. No.
And look, they could pick up this Brazilian boy. He could be, like you said, the next Neymar that comes out of Brazil could be fantastic. But at the same time, he couldn't be. So it's tough for them to go and obviously navigate that. But they definitely need someone.
Yeah, 100%. And moving on, just looking from the recent results from this past weekend, United coming up short against Forest. What a surprise! But they've had Mr. Ratcliffe complete his 20% stake takeover in the club. I don't know what that entails. Is he got control of footballing operations? Like, where does he stand in and amongst the club?
I don't know. And I think anyone that calls himself a United fan and is happy to come in and be an owner but keep the Glazers on board, you've already set yourself up to fail, really, because the fans are
But they're
already
still there. They're not gone.
the fans are already like, well, what the fuck is the point in you?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they need a striker. There's so much competition. If there was a striker to emerge, then there'd be so many clubs that would be vying for the signature. There would be sport for choice. Arsenal, is a very attractive proposition at the moment. They're fighting for the league title now. They're obviously through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. You would pretty much, I imagine, if you signed that caliber striker, you would walk straight into that team. So they've all those things going in their way. Obviously, United and Chelsea and clubs like that are not in that position. So they have a lot of things going for them, but it's so hard. I can't. I've said Osman because of obviously
his track record.
yeah, but I can't think of that. To me, still shouts 90 million, which I don't think they're willing to go and spend. So if they're probably willing to spend in around that 50 million bracket, and I think for that you're struggling.
Absolutely. No, it's going to be like you said. January is always a difficult time for any top club that is lacking quality in a key area that they can, unless forking out stupid amounts of money, they're not going to guarantee themselves that quality that they need to fulfil that particular role. So, by all means, Arsenal have it all out for themselves to see who they could pick up throughout this January window. There's one player that I'm actually quite intrigued about. I don't think he'll move in January, but like he's been one of the. I wouldn't say he's been like an outstanding star in the Premier League, but he's stood out for them, and that's Crystal Palace's Michael Elise.
Well, I heard today that he's linked to United. I heard that there's been rumours that he's been linked with United. Obviously, United crying out for wingers, but it has been. I think Gary Neville said it the other day that United's been a graveyard for players.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Difficult choices. He has been really, really good. He's obviously stepped up to the plate in recent times. I know that Eze has been sort of in
Eze
and out
as well. Yeah, I think them two together have been outstanding for Palace this year.
Yeah, so he's the top players, and look, I think he's under someone that knows the game really well. Not the most exciting of football managers, Roy Hodgson, but he knows the game really well, knows it inside out, knows how to nurture players and develop them, and clearly you've seen that. So this is going to sound a little bit biased, but I think someone that would suit Arsenal's play down to the ground plays up front for Palace as well. I think if they were to go and sign Odsonne Edouard, which they won't do, and everyone will say you're saying that with a Celtic head on, and potentially that is, but I think that guy would suit Arsenal's
So
style.
glad you didn't say Jordan, are you? Fucking hell.
No, I think everyone would suit their style of play down to the ground. Again,
Benteke.
would he go and score the goals that they need him to score? I don't know. He hasn't hit those heights that he hit with us. He's maybe struggled to be a bit. I thought he'd be more prolific in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I think like his close control and his dribbling and his ability to beat a man, I think he would suit Arsenal style down to the ground. But it would be an upgrade on Nketiah, like fucking hell.
Absolutely, 100%. No, I don't think he's just cut for it. But we have to wait and see. It's early days in January. We got FA Cup action to look forward to this weekend, and that's what we're here for. I'm just feeling Maria's presence in the background. She's getting a bit fidgety, so I think we're gonna have to wrap things up. But look, Mayhem, great to have you back. Thanks for joining me this evening. Kicking off 2024 with a bang, as we do. Pleasure to have you as always, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, you can check out all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Audible, and all other audio platforms. If you'd like to check us out on the live recordings, head on over to our YouTube channel, The Football Booth. Whilst you're over there, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, ring that bell for notifications, drop your comments below. And until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and the star.